Welcome to the Fabric of Our Community. We are joined today by Rory S. and Rory P. Coakley of Coakley Realty. Now, this is a family-run firm that has thrived right here in the DC area for more than 36 years. They have a strong commitment to this community, and they call themselves sort of a one-stop shop realty shop, that is. But it's even more than that. They have built something that has lasted and continues to grow within our community.
Hi, my name is Joel Greenzaid, and I'm President and CEO of G Street Fabrics. Welcome to the fabric of our community, where we honor and recognize individuals that have made an impact on our community. And I also want to thank our Emmy Award-winning journalist and author Traci Mitchell for being with us today. So we have Rory and his son. I've known Rory a very long time. Actually, we went to college together, and we actually played football together. And I still call him Mr. Coakley because he was the toughest guy on the team. He was the middle linebacker. So I still call him Mr. Coakley. But it was a great friendship. It was a great friendship. And we've obviously stayed in touch over the years. And I've seen Rory build a business from nothing, and it's a very well-known and very established business. And not too long ago, or a number of years back, he brought his son in, who is one of the young new real estate men in the community. Who's, I shouldn't say new because he's been doing it for a while, and he's very good at it. And he had somebody very good to learn from. And I also knew Rory's mother and father. And I want to say that they were just two of the kindest, most humble people, and they were very philanthropic. And I always remember your mom and dad. They were great people.
Thank you.
So we want to honor them, and I'm going to let Rory go and start talking about, from the beginning, the story. How did it start?
Okay. Well, I guess I would start with my mom and dad, as you said. My dad met a gentleman named Fred Williams in 1961, and they formed a company called Coakley & Williams, Inc. Wow. And they started out primarily as builders for other owners. And after a while, they said, why don't we start building some of this stuff for ourselves? Mm-hmm. And that's how they became owners of warehouses, office buildings, hotels, and things of that nature, mostly in this area, but we did creep out a little bit into Pennsylvania and places like that. So I grew up in the business. I remember working as early as, say, 6th grade. Wow. During the summer, painting railings, carrying cinder blocks, and digging holes.
That's great.
It creates character.
It creates character, teaches the manual labor. So I started doing that, and then eventually I went to college. I took finance at Georgetown, and I got a master's degree at American University in real estate and urban development. So I kind of had my eyes set on being in the real estate and construction industry. So luckily, there was a job there for me when I graduated. I actually graduated the grad school in '84, but did that at night in '84. So stopped full-time school in '83 and just began working at Coakley Williams as like a research analyst. Then I became director of acquisition. Then I became vice president of development. And eventually I was director of business development for the construction company. Concurrent with the latter part of that, in 1989, my wife and I had always wanted to have our own business. So we formed a business called Rory S. Coakley Realty, Inc. in 1989, February 1, I can recall. And my wife and I are 50-50 partners, and that business is now over 36 years old.
And to me, I always remember that. I mean, that was a big move. I mean, your dad had a fabulous company, and for you to go on your own, I mean, that took some risk, and you've done it phenomenal. So
I left a full-time salary, a car allowance, 401k, you name it. I had a full package of benefits, and I decided to give that up to have the ability to be an entrepreneur. entrepreneur and start, our own business together with my wife.
And what did your parents say when you told them you were going to do that?
Good question. That was a very difficult question. I remember we were in Florida on a vacation visiting my folks, and I'd been planning to do this, and I knew I had to talk to them. So I said, Dad, let's take a walk on the beach. And that's exactly how it happened. And at first he was a bit disappointed because I had 2 other brothers in the business, and I had a sister who also worked in the business. But he understood because he was an entrepreneur, and he and my mom turned out to be some of our best supporters. And that's how that got started.
I also want to say quickly, though, Rory's wife, Nancy Coakley, who I also know very well, is a wonderful entrepreneur and very inspiring person. So a little shout out to your wife.
Thank you. So we started out of our home in Silver Spring and eventually moved to downtown Rockville, which is where we still are now. I think we moved there in about 1984, 90,
And
93.
nobody was moving to downtown Rockville.
That's right.
Before.
The mall had been demolished.
Right.
There was remnants of the demolition of the mall in front of my office.
Yeah.
So we located at 20 Courthouse Square, and we've gone from 1,000 feet to 1,500 feet. And now we're in about 2,000 feet, and we own the condominium. So we've been there since the early mid-'90s. We don't plan on going anywhere. It is now a good location. It's right across from the courthouses, and it's very convenient to get to. But you're right. When we moved there, the mall of Rockville, which is a disaster, was it had just been demolished.
I sometimes call Mr. Coakley the mayor of Rockville, in that he has really established himself in the community. I know he's a board member of a bank, pretty good-sized bank in Rockville, and anyway, a lot of respect for that.
Okay. I actually was on the board of Capital Bank for 16 years, but resigned like last year.
Okay.
But it was 16
It
years.
was a good run,
It's a long
16
time.
years, and they counted on you.
That's
They
right.
counted on you.
Sure.
You were a visionary for them. Because
It was a very
when
good
you
experience.
started, they were a little bank. And
They were about 300 million. Now they're like 2.3 billion.
yes.
Oh, wow.
yes.
Yeah, big
So
change.
you had quite a good run with them.
It was a
Anyway,
good experience.
keep
It was a
going.
good experience. So, I started out by myself and my wife, and then eventually backing up in 1990, going back to Georgetown, I had a great real estate professor, Dr. John Tusillo, who also kept score at all the basketball games. So I liked him for that as well. And I heard that Dr. Tusillo was going to resign from teaching, so I called the dean and said, hey, I'm in real estate. I've got my real estate master's degree. I have a finance degree from Georgetown. Do you need to fill that spot? He says, send me your resume. I did. He goes, you're on. So I taught 5 years, and in my first class, there was a gentleman named Mike Rose, and to this day, Mike is still with our company.
Oh, wow.
That's
So,
a great story.
yeah,
and
so-
Mike Rose is one of the top guys, right?
In the county.
In residential real estate.
Yeah, he's a big producer, and he's been a good, loyal friend. And it also turns out that in the second class, his to-be wife was in that class.
Right?
So, and they live not too
So
far
wait,
from
did they
me.
get together once they joined your company, or were they together before
No,
she
they were
joined?
they were together when he was in my class, and then
Okay.
when she was in my class. He was 1 year older.
Okay.
So
That's a great story.
That's pretty
that was a
funny.
good
I've
experience.
met him. Very,
Yeah,
very
he's a great
good
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we built from, one agent to 2 agents. Now we have 30 agents. And in 1999, I mentioned with a fellow named Jim Daly, one of the greatest partners I've ever had. We formed we formed Coakley Realty Management LLC, and just slowly built the property management business. And Jim retired last year. We had a buyout clause in place, and my wife Nancy and I and Rory bought Jim's interest. And so now, since June 1, the 3 of us have owned the company, and things are going well, and Rory's brought in a bunch of contracts, and
Let's talk about
the
that.
business is doing
to
well.
the younger Rory, because I know you've been in the business a long time, and I know you're young and you look young, but you're a seasoned real estate guy. I mean, so how does it work with with your part of the business?
Yeah, so I touch a couple different aspects of it, but I got my real estate license I think in 2010, and probably came on board full time in 2014-ish. I was telling Traci I had graduated college in 2009. Obviously, the job market not great. Got my real estate license. Real estate market not great, but I was able to hold a job with a mortgage company and do refis. That was kind of a busy time for refis, and then went full time with Coakley Realty, and then started helping out with a management company, just day-to-day management type services, along with doing brokerage work, that is residential and commercial leasing and sales. And I'm kind of doing the same now. We do have a few employees at the management company, but I think we do have a team that's set up there that it is running well at the moment.
Now, so how many properties? What kind of properties are you managing?
We manage everything from a residential condo to actually a 140,000 square foot industrial retail building right down the street on Park Lawn.
Wow.
So it's a pretty wide array.
Wait, which building is that on Park Lawn?
11711 Park Lawn with kid-to-kid court furniture.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say.
So that building.
Do you lease it too? If
We
it's
do leasing
necessary?
and management. Yep.
Oh, that's perfect.
So, and we prefer it that way. It creates a better relationship with tenants and owners because you're involved in the deals, in the whole deal.
I like that.
But yeah, we just everything from a building,
Good strategy.
a building like that to a single condo.
Did you see that this is what you were going to do? Like when you
No.
left college? No? No. Your dad didn't sway you in any way? Okay. What happened? Like
There
how
were
did
no
you
jobs.
fall? There were no, it made it simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Literally go work where anybody will offer you a job.
But what we were talking about too, though, you kind of set yourself up for this because, being on that finance side and then going into real estate, you see things a little bit differently than some real estate agents may see in property management, no?
Yeah, no, it helps. On the residential side, especially talking with maybe like younger, less experienced buyers that just, they'll go buy a car in the middle of trying to buy a house, and it's just a total nightmare at that point. It's just little things that you can that I picked up on the lending side that definitely do help on the residential side.
And how is the residential right now? I mean, you guys have been through all kinds of economies. What's going on in the residential market now?
Last year, the supply was limited, the lowest supply that I've ever seen in my experience. And this first 3.5 months, the supply is increasing quite a bit. And that's very promising because if a salesperson doesn't have a product to sell, he doesn't have any fabric,
Right.
it's hard to keep it going.
Right.
So I see signs popping up, and I'm getting the MLS, and we've got our sales manager reporting back to us that the market is getting better. So buyers are coming out of the woodwork, and sellers are feeling more comfortable about selling.
I mean,
So-
30 agents is a lot of people you got there. I mean, and they're all doing okay, I guess.
They are. Some are part-time, some are full-time, and it is a diverse group of folks.
Right.
And
I don't think people understand the life that you have, right? Because you're sort of like, I wouldn't say you're a doctor because it's a different thing, but you're kind of always on, right? No
Yes.
matter where you are, you can be at the grocery store, people know who you are, you have to jump into that. Is that it's sort of like a blessing and a curse. How do you manage that and still have fun? We talked about fun outside. Like, yes. Yeah. But seriously, how do you do that? How do you have a
I
life
guess
as a
it's the
realtor?
nature of my personality. I like to engage with people. I like to talk to people. I like to learn things. I like to learn about other cultures, other businesses. So to me, it's just kind of natural to be able to try and speak to other people and, learn about them.
And that has to help the business, though. You know what I mean? They see you as an ordinary person as opposed to somebody trying to make a sale, because that's who you are. You're showing them your authentic self. No?
Yes, I'll give you an example. In December, my wife and I went up to a new bar restaurant in Potomac Village called Whelan's, and we were just sitting at the bar watching the Redskins, and sitting next to the two ladies and a man. It turns out they were twins from Pennsylvania, and she was retired, and her sister was there with her husband, and she said, "What do you do?" "I'm in real estate." "Oh, I may need to rent something or buy something." And on Wednesday, we went to settlement on a property. I just met this woman in December, and we hit it off, and we were able to fulfill her needs. And that happens not on a regular basis, but it happens.
That's good. And your wife, I know, is also very engaging and great personality, beautiful woman, and I think, she's very good at that too, right?
Yes, she is.
Let me ask again, back to the younger Mr. Coakley. What is the leasing market like in the Rockville area? Is it retail? Is it warehouse? How's that going?
The warehouse market's crazy. There's not a lot out there. Everything's going for a lot more than it was a couple years ago. Retail's come back since COVID. Office still struggling.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
just people still downsizing. Leases are coming up, turning over. They're realizing they need half the space. They need a quarter of the space. They don't need any space. So office is still struggling a bit, but I think the nicer office buildings are coming down in rate, and people are getting good, 5, 7, 10-year deals now.
Wow.
They're definitely out there to be had.
Wow. Sorry, go ahead.
I just read yesterday that I think Montgomery County Council passed a bill that will provide tax incentives for owners of office buildings that have a lot of vacancy to convert to residential or to demolish them and build new residential. And for that, they would get a 20-year real estate tax break.
It's funny, I was going to ask you about that. That's exactly what I was going to ask, because I was going to say, what incentives, besides that, because I did see that as well, are people getting to fill that vacancy? Because, Joel, you said a while ago when, no one was moving to Rockville and it was dead and dying and the mall was demolished. It's like you don't want to kind of go back to that, right, where you have all of these vacant buildings. But how do you make that conversion? How do you, and I don't know if, either one of you wants it, how does that affect the real estate market, right? When you have these empty office buildings that then turn into real estate.
Well, I think Rory was
residential.
touching on it.
Yeah.
There's a building that comes to mind in Rockville where these law firms and tenants have been in there for years and years, and they're now renewing, and they're cutting their space in half, or cutting it by 2/3, or some are leaving. They just, like Rory said, they don't need that space, and more people working remote as a result of what happened with COVID.
I want to change gears just for a second here, because I know you like to travel, and that you've been on some nice travels in the not so distant past. Tell me about some of the great places you and your wife have visited.
Well, New Zealand sticks out. Australia.
So, did you do New Zealand, Australia at the same time?
No, it's funny, but almost everybody asked that question. But the reality is New Zealand and Australia are about 2,000 miles apart.
Oh, funny.
Really a separate trip I would recommend. But we like Southeast Asia.
So how long were you in Australia and New Zealand?
Approximately 4 weeks.
Wow. What?
Beautiful place, nice people, great food, scenery. Takes a while to get there, so you got to
Yeah, it does.
right on a 20-hour with an airplane.
And then tell me,
You didn't go. You made a face. No.
tell me about, the Southeast Asia.
It's great. Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia.
That was that one trip, or?
Thailand and Vietnam was one. They're pretty much next to each other, I think. and Cambodia. That's next to Vietnam. But we've been to Thailand twice. We've ridden elephants.
Right. Who sets up those trips? You or your wife?
Usually, mostly me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you learn a lot about the country when you're setting up the trip,
Right.
and the geography, and what it's going to do. Just yesterday, my wife and I were on the phone with a planner. We're going to West Africa, and I said, you're telling me all these places and how we're going to get from A to B to C. Is there a way for you to flash up a map? And she took a screenshot, sent it to me. I said, oh, that's so much better. I can see
Right.
this itinerary and how it's panning out.
Is it going to be your first time to Africa?
It'll be our fifth.
Where have you been in Africa?
South Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Zimbabwe,
This is your fifth one.
Libya,
So you're pretty good traveling, man.
Tangier.
What's your favorite?
In Africa?
Yeah.
South Africa's very nice. Tanzania, Kenya, it's hard to say. I'd maybe say Rwanda.
Really?
People of Rwanda and the way they take care of their country, it's clean. There's all types of construction and development going on.
Wow.
And one of the main things is to see the gorillas. So we went and we went to the jungle.
There's certain countries that have gorillas and there's some that don't.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah.
Rwanda's famous for the gorillas,
Right.
and it's just a great place. That was maybe our second trip to Africa.
So you want to be on some safari type trips.
We've done, I estimate that we've probably been on 30 safaris. That's like, maybe 3 to 5 hour, in a jeep.
And who's the camera person?
We basically take whatever we can take. We did buy a camera, but the phone is so simple.
Right.
And the pictures are stunning on the phone. Yeah.
On one of the trips, another couple was with us, and they brought a nice camera, and they took a bunch of pictures. They created a book that's like a very professional book. So
That's one.
So I'm sorry, you left your son at home?
yeah,
I didn't make the application.
Any of them?
no.
Oh, no?
Somebody had to run the business.
I know, right? He hasn't graduated to that level? Oh, okay.
He's been to Tuscany.
That's lovely.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's very nice. That was when it snowed in Rome.
It was
It's like,
3 feet of snow.
Wow.
Tuscany, and
oh yeah, that's right.
and we were in a multiple villa thing on top of a hill, pretty steep hill, not a mountain, but the company that rented us the place said we have to leave because if the power goes out, we can't get up the hill. We don't have snow equipment. We can't be stranded there. You have to leave. So where are we going to go? We'll take you to Rome. I said, okay, that's not so bad.
You're right.
So we
Wow.
what were those trucks that came up the hill? They were like,
I don't know, some pickup trucks, but they kind of barely made it.
and barely made it up, and we had to load all our luggage, and there was probably 8 of us,
Yeah.
and
They got you to
we
Rome.
got to Rome. When we got to Rome, it was a tough trip because there are no snow plows.
There's no snow, supposedly.
Rome, the guys were trying to shovel the snow with pizza.
With the
So
Peel.
Wow.
So I just want to say, the two of you seem to have a wonderful relationship, and I know you've worked together for quite many years, a certain amount of years, and so how is that? What have you learned from your dad?
I think our business is unique. It's very people oriented. So, kind of bouncing back to Tracy's question about how do you deal with it all. He's very good at talking to people. So seeing that and being able to kind of turn off work mode, turn it back on, and be able to kind of juggle that is helpful and definitely something that I've learned from him. And then on the other side of it, just dealing and handling with our contractors and employees, his partner, Jim Daly, was he spearheaded or kind of took care of the back end, and I'm handling that now since Jim has retired, and definitely learned a couple things from Jim too.
But the relationship is very strong. I mean, sometimes, in family businesses, it doesn't quite work. It seems like there's a lot of mutual respect between the two of you.
I think we complement one another, and I think we do things differently. He's obviously more tech savvy. There's a whole bunch of things I can't do with a computer that he can do.
Right.
And he's very good at, if I say, here, just this guy needs 10,000 square feet, before I know it, he'll say it's done.
Wow.
So he works quietly and efficiently.
I love it.
I think in the world of real estate, I think that kind of works, right? You each learn from each other because
Yes.
the real estate changes so quickly, but you still need that foundation to be successful, to do well. You have to understand how the markets work, but at the same time, they're working much faster than
Sure.
they were before.
Oh, yeah.
So I can see how you were saying that you complement each other, that sort of connection works and helps to build a business. So what's next?
Well, I was going to make a comment.
Okay.
We also have some veteran people like Mike Rose, who's been there more than 30 years. So in our office, which allows me to take a vacation every now and again, because I've got a good support staff, a great foundation, there's very good collaboration in the office. So if someone says, what should I do about this issue? There's a bunch of people that will gather around and provide input. So
That's really beautiful because not all companies have that, and I think you developed that working together.
Right.
I mean, the collaboration is
it's
so
very important because everybody's got different walks of life and different experiences.
Absolutely.
And have you ever seen this problem before? No, but here's how you might try to solve it.
I
So
love it.
you all are solid. You're moving forward, residential, commercial, things look okay right now.
Things look okay. Things are better. Last year was pretty
Okay,
tough
good.
because of that supply problem on the residential side. Plus, interest rates were high, inflation was high. You had an election year that probably had impact on people's decision making.
Definitely, right?
So I think things are looking up. I see the signs popping up,
Yes.
and I think the phone is ringing more than it was last year. And
That's a good sign.
we're busy.
Right. So do you find that when you're busy in one sector, you may not be busy in the other, and it kind of
Precisely.
right?
Good
There's
question.
never equilibrium.
No.
It's always swinging. And that's why in the article that, did they share the article with you
Yes.
from the Realtor magazine?
Yes.
One of the foundations of Coakley Realty was basically taken after my dad's company because he had multifaceted lines of business. There was acquisition, development, finance, leasing, property management, construction. So we have sales, leasing, residential, commercial, property management, and real estate tax appeals. So when one segment is up, another might be down. So the diversification helps keep the train running.
That's brilliant. That's a great
makes sense.
strategy.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about, because this is, I think, very important. I've known Mr. Coakley for many years, and of course his parents, and I know they're a very philanthropic family, and I know you've been big time involved with different charitable organizations and the community. Talk about that. Tell us some of the bigger ones.
Well, I
that
guess
you've
the
been involved
influence, like you say, was my mom and dad. They were always involved in things like Columbia Lighthouse for the Blind. I had a friend I went to high school with who had a sister who was blind. And my parents just so happened to become pretty much best friends with those parents. So at one point in time, Coakley and Williams Inc. was getting hit from everybody for, contribute to this, contribute to that. And finally, we gathered around the table and said, why don't we pick one thing a year and do it right? So we ended up being the host of the black tie event for the Columbia Lighthouse for the Blind, and we probably did it at least 4 years, I think, and raised a couple $100,000.
Where was that event? Where did you
That
hold
was at the Springfield Hilton, which was owned and operated by Neil, my dad, and Fred Williams.
That's beautiful.
And you
Yeah.
raised a couple of $100,000.
A couple
That's
$100,000.
amazing.
Yeah. This is in the 80s.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
that could be millions of dollars
Yes.
in today's
Yes.
dollars. So from that type of experience, my dad was always coaching. My mom was involved in church activities and other philanthropic things. He was with the Knights of Columbus, and they do a lot of nice things. So I just felt it was a natural thing for me to get involved in charities like Community Ministries of Rockville. Let me see, there's a couple good ones on here. Stepping Stones Homeless Shelter.
Stepping Stones, that's in Rockville,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's a shelter for homeless families.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I worked with places for homeless people,
Right.
but this is a different twist. Homeless families, which is a whole nother program as far as trying to take care of everybody in the group.
That's
and
very
I
important. I've
learned a
heard
lot
of
about
one.
that.
Where are they located?
They're right up by Ritchie Center,
Sure.
right up behind there in a residential neighborhood.
So that's a big one for you.
So
You've been pretty
what we
involved.
did there, we had a hat party for like 5 years in a row. So people would wear every crazy kind of hat you could think of, and we'd have a band, and it was a fundraiser. And we raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for that organization.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
And we'd go paint the shelter. We'd do whatever needed to be done. Paint it on a Saturday.
That's great.
But one day I went to lunch with my brother-in-law, Pat Caulfield, and a guy named Petch Gibbons, who was a former chairman of the board of Big Brothers Big Sisters National Capital Area. And currently at the time, Pat, my brother-in-law, was the president, not the president, the chairman of the board. So having lunch with these guys, and they bring up the topic, like, Pat's been doing this for 7, 8 years. We need to replace him. Would you consider taking this position? And I had a hint that they were going to ask me to do this, but I didn't really know much about it or the organization. And it kind of intrigued me, the mission to take care of at-risk children. And I accepted the job, and they said, "Really? You're gonna do it?" I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." So I ended up doing that for 7.5 years. It was
Wow.
one of the most fulfilling charitable things that I was ever involved with.
And that took a lot of your time.
It was a fair amount of time,
I
yeah.
mean, you had board meetings, I'm sure.
Sure,
And,
I'd run the board meetings.
wow.
But very impactful organization on the lives of at-risk children.
And the
So-
kids you met, all
Yeah.
ages.
And the people who were the mentors were the bigs. You had the bigs and the littles.
Right.
So every year we'd have an event called the Big Celebration. In fact, Pat is getting honored this coming November. I was asked to call him to see if he could be available.
I remember that name. I remember you talking about it.
Yeah.
He was a major force,
Yes,
right?
he was.
Yes,
And
he
he
was.
led me to that organization. And Petch Gibbons, who now,
Oh, Petch also. That's
Yeah.
the one I think I remember.
he also works with our firm now. So that's a benefit of being involved in an organization. You meet people. He's a commercial real estate guy, mostly in Washington, D.C., but he's now with us. And that's
So this big event, where do you have that?
this one is going to be down at Nationals Park. They have an indoor facility that's supposed to be great. I've not seen it, but otherwise we've had them at the Marriott Marquis, places like
And the
that.
bigs and the littles come.
And who are the bigs?
The
I know who
bigs
littles
are
but who
volunteer
bigs?
mentors who take the at-risk children under their wing and do things with them whenever they can. A lot of times it's on a weekend. They might go to a ball game. The big might go to their ball game. They might do homework. They might go shopping. They might go anywhere, any type of place, a zoo, or just to be a
big
companion.
could stay with a little for many years.
Yes, yes. And the vetting process is extremely thorough because you're dealing with adults and children that didn't know each other to begin with. So you need to make sure that the big is vetted very carefully. They go to their home, they talk to their employer, they do a very thorough search about the person, and they try to match them up appropriately with a little. And it's a pretty cool process.
That's incredible.
It is incredible.
I'm just, I'm just so fascinated, and what Rory has done business-wise, community-wise. I'm honored that I know 3 generations of Coakleys. They've made a huge impact on our community, one of the great, great families in Maryland. And I can't thank you enough for being here.
Thank you.
Really.
Thank you.
Thanks
It's
for having
just
us.
fabulous. Certainly a worthy honor for you and your family. I mean, that we're trying to recognize people like you that have made a difference, and you all have made a big difference.
Thank you.
Huge.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out to
Sure.
G Street. Great family, the Coakleys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.